guys? Welcome to Wrestling Sheet Radio. I'm your host, ProWrestlingSheet.com, editor-in-chief Ryan Satin. I'm here with my co-host, a freshly shaven Jamie Iovine.
How you doing?
And back from Costa Rica, Elijah Bates.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, last week we had Rachel Sam Evans in your place.
Nice.
Yeah, so Jamie got the Rachel experience this time.
How did you like the Rachel effect?
She's delightful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, definitely a big fan of having Rachel on the show, and I think
I saw her butt yesterday.
she's a very confident person on social media. Yeah, no, she flaunts her stuff.
I'm all for it, but I just say you guys haven't seen my butt.
Yeah.
I feel like we all need to do. We all need to share more.
If you want to post your butt on social media, I will be supportive of it.
I wish I had the confidence Rachel does.
Me too. I've told her that. I was like, I straight up told her, I was like, man, I wish I could be as confident as you are. Like, you are so fucking confident. It's awesome.
And because of this, she's probably going to get a lot more people going to her page being like, what's this all about?
I do not feel like I should put my butt out there, though, because...
I'm just saying, if you did, I'd be supportive of it.
I wouldn't, because I care about you guys, and I'm a hairy man.
Yeah, no, fair. I appreciate that. No, I appreciate that.
And as people have seen when I wore shorts on the show, as am I.
we're all hairy men, and you don't want to see our butts.
This is new. I haven't seen this.
Yeah, the Spider-Verse.
I love this.
It's new this week, and maybe even the past couple of days, and I saw it this week as well for the first time. I was like, man, that is really cool.
People can't see a full shot of it, but it's pretty much every single spider suit that's ever been in the history of comics.
Yeah, like, I was confused, Jamie. Like, the first one says the Wrestler, I think.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize Spider-Man was originally called the Wrestler. I was like,
no, that's just the wrestler costume.
What's that mean?
That's when
he was pretending to be a wrestler when he fought Bonesaw. That was the whole Macho
in the
Man
comics.
scene.
But I know
Crusher
that,
Hogan.
but that's how he started.
Yeah,
because it has that first.
Yeah, because before he made his costume, that's all he had.
That's cool.
You've seen.
I've seen the movie. I didn't know the comic book had that whole wrestler storyline in it.
Of course, that's where.
From Satin.
Like every movie back then at the time,
fun little
went
piece of
directly
trivia
from the comic books. Only Marvel got good at doing that.
Fun piece of little movie trivia that you'll enjoy.
But it wasn't. It was Sony Marvel movie. Continue. Sorry.
Fine, it doesn't matter.
No, continue. Sorry.
No, he needed to be angry.
In the original comic, the character that Peter Parker wrestles, the wrestler, is named Crusher Hogan.
Interesting.
And then fast forward, when the movie happens, not Hulk Hogan, but Macho Man Randy Savage plays. And I'm sure, I don't know, I don't know for sure, actually, now that I say that, but I don't know if, like, when they were like, oh, you're going to play Crusher Hogan, and be like, I don't want to be called Hogan, brother. And then, like, no, I don't know about that. No, brother.
It's funny that you mentioned, because that was a good fun fact. And I've been looking at fun facts all day, because Eli tweeted this thing that I was talking to Jamie about, but I tweeted today asking, like, wrestlers to post a fun fact about themselves.
I saw today. I'm glad you retweeted them all, because I wasn't about to go see the hashtag.
That wasn't like too excessive posting all those, right? Because they were fun.
They were all fun. You did something really nice for the IWC, Ryan.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
First time for everything.
What was the fun fact?
There was tons of them, and
there were some good ones.
By the time you guys listen and or watch this on YouTube, I'll have already posted a full YouTube video where I posted a bunch of the best ones. But for those of you who aren't going to go to the YouTube channel, I'll list some. I guess I can talk about some of the highlights. I guess I liked. Let's see. Hold on, I gotta go back now. Let's see. Well, I liked David Arquette. He started things off early.
He had a good one.
Yeah, he said that he wore a stage-worn Macho Man Randy Savage outfit to Burning Man and passed out Slim Jims.
Which, by the way, I think that everybody who reads that, their first thing goes to the cowboy hat and the tassels. You got to remember, when they met, Macho Man was in full black tank top, leather. And so I think that's the outfit he wore.
No, he posted a picture of it.
No.
It's
you mean
great.
the one where he's like wearing like a beret, like a
I thought that's
cap?
He posted a picture of himself at Burning Man in the picture. It is the tassels and everything.
See, then I was wrong.
Yeah,
I assumed it was that one.
You thought he was wearing like the mesh
with
macho
the stars on it and shit.
Would he have at least had like a Gorgeous George knockoff with him at that point?
Okay, here's a question. Now, say you have it like. You have an opportunity to get a piece of ring-worn Macho Man gear for free.
Yeah.
But it's that Macho Man. It's
hey,
Macho! Ooh, yeah! The beginning of his theme song.
I've been working out.
It's just right before a rap album, Macho Man.
If it's free, I'm taking it. Of course I'm taking it. If it's free.
But it's not the Macho Man that everybody knows.
I would give it to my dad.
That's like, would you have the Hulk Hogan fist helmet? Actually, no, I would have that.
Yeah, of course you would. And I'd
That'd be like getting
I'd put it like in a glass case where like you could push a button next to it, you know, and the Macho Man rap album starts playing with it. That's great. It's a good part of your like.
Yeah, that would be
decade.
pretty cool.
That'd be awesome.
I would wear the Hogan helmet to every Laker game.
You'd be like the new Clipper Darrell for the Lakers.
Just
your Hogan ad.
Like, what if you got it was a Hulk Hogan outfit, but it was when it was Mr. America. Like, nobody know what that was. Nobody's going to know that that's a Macho Man outfit.
To be fair,
you guys
we don't
keep saying
know.
for free, though. Like, if it's free, of course we're going to take... No one's going to be like,
I don't know if I would want
no,
I don't know if I'd want Macho.
Jamie, I've seen your house. You have, like, so much memorabilia up and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
in
but
your
it's-
garage
but
next to,
then-
like, an arcade game, you
Yeah,
wouldn't want to have
there's a lot of
Mr.
context.
America thing?
There's a
Oh,
lot
that
of,
I would, but I'm talking about the Macho Man era shit.
like the Macho Man stuff is so nondescript. You wouldn't even. You'd have to tell.
You would
people
have to
it was
tell
Macho-
people what it
Like that
is.
defeats the purpose of
Yes,
having it. If you have
I
to tell
agree.
somebody where it came from, they'd be like, "What is this?"
You just do like what Hard Rock does, and you just place a picture on it of them wearing
Have
it.
you
and
been to
everyone
some of the
knows.
Hard Rocks, like in like Wisconsin?
Hey,
Like they have
hey.
some like shit that like somebody wore once. Like-
Also, who goes to Hard Rock? I mean, that barely happens anymore. There's barely any of them. Are
No, they're
right?
still around.
Are they?
I mean, I haven't
there's
been
one
to
in
a Hard
Vegas,
Rock
but-
when
the Vegas one, yeah.
The Vegas one.
There's one at City Walk.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. City Walk, that's the one out here.
okay.
There's not Planet Hollywoods anymore, though, right?
No, I think
Nah.
Those all went away, right?
Well, there's still the hotel. There is still the hotel.
I loved Planet Hollywood way more than Hard Rock as a kid.
I know. Me too.
Yeah, because you get to see movie stuff.
Yeah, so many cool movie
Well,
things.
it'd be like Arnold Schwarzenegger hangs out with Dan Aykroyd. This is blowing my mind.
my other favorite one, and then before we get to some of the stories this week that I liked, or some of the big stories this week, but my other tweet that another tweet that I liked from this whole fun facts thing was Ian Riccaboni, who's the announcer for Ring of Honor, and he said, my freshman year at college, I turned down a chance to play a gig where I would be opening for a fellow NYU student named Stefani. Stefani became Lady Gaga. He said, too lazy. Thought I was too good to open for someone. I had approximately 15 MySpace followers. Went to my head, I guess.
There's a lot of those stories with Lady Gaga of what could have been. You know, Ellie Reed famously always says that's one of his biggest regrets is not signing Lady Gaga to Def Jam. Passed on her. Just like, nope.
You have to feel so dumb passing on someone like that. Like once she becomes like a huge thing like that, you have to be like, oh shit, man, that's the worst.
Of course, like like if you broke up with somebody and then they wrote like a popular pop song about you, you'd be like, wow, I really underestimated how much you were.
There's the famous legend of Hulk Hogan passing on the Foreman grill. You know?
Yeah, for Pizza Mania or Pasta Mania. Pasta Mania.
And then the Hogan mixer that mixes drinks for you. Remember that?
No. What does it mix? Like orange juice with Bud Light?
Mix your favorite juices. That's really what it was. It's just
like a blender?
Not even. It wasn't even a blender. It didn't even break things up. Like if you put ice in there, it would still be
just ice
whole.
Yeah.
What's the product from Arrested Development?
The corn baller.
The corn baller.
I'm gonna find the Hogan mixer for you.
All right. Well, while you're looking that up, I think we should talk about. I mean, something we kind of covered at the Smackdown.
Bring it.
Recap, but I want to hear you guys' opinions on this, and that
the
is
Thunder Mixer. Here it is. Here, take a look at that.
the Thunder Mixer.
Thunder Mixer. They should have called it the Thunder in Paradise. Because he was in that show.
No, I got it. I got it. No, we got it all, Eli. We definitely got it.
Oh, well, I hate you.
But it's not a blender. It literally just
it
mixes liquid.
Yeah.
It's what.
So it's like a pre-shaker.
It's
basically.
an expensive spoon.
Hey,
Yeah.
ahead of his time, dude. This is basically a shaker.
It really,
shakers are
but
huge.
it was battery
Hey,
powered.
also, that's not ahead of his time. The shaker already existed at that point in time.
The shaker.
The shaker's been involved. Like it was in James Bond movies, for God's
The
sake.
shakers are huge. No, not the alcohol kind of shaker, like the protein shake.
the quickest and
Like
easiest.
the ones all the protein guys all have, where they're shaking the protein.
I
back.
got
just
one of
thought-
those with the little ball, the metal ball inside.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought that was a thermos.
Well, I mean, no, they're called shakers.
Yeah, I got one of
It's
those.
a specific thing.
Oh, well.
Yeah, you don't know.
I don't care.
That shows you all the things you can drink. Make smoothies, protein drinks.
I'm gonna get you one for Christmas.
Gatorade with
salsa,
powdered mix.
apparently.
Salsa! Sold!
All right, well now you got me, Hulk Hogan. I think one of the biggest stories of the week is Daniel Bryan and how well perceived his heel turn was this week. I mean, it was really solidified this week.
It's fantastic. And you know what I love about it? It's that character that we thought we weren't going to get. That vegan, because remember, that's what they thought he was going to initially be, like, from the onset. And we never really, we got a taste of it.
There was always a little jabs about it,
but the full on, like, because that's, I mean, he's going full on methane in the atmosphere,
and he's aggressive with it.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be more subtle thing, like. Pardon my French, but like a pussified approach with it, like where I thought it was going to be something where they were going to not let him go all out the way he is, and thus it would be almost like them patronizing those beliefs that he's sticking to and everything like that. Instead, he's sticking to them and using it in an aggressive heel manner, and it's really effective.
And you know what? He believes all these, and the best heel is they believe in what they say, and he believes all these things. He really believes that people should stop eating farm factory food. And
I mean, the weird thing about it is like it's kind of, like wrestling does this sometimes where they're like, well, we're going to cater to the larger whole of our audience right here, but the ideals that he's spouting, a lot of them are actually have a lot of grounding to the point where it's like, is he really a heel? Like, I mean, he's actually talking about like kind of like ethically, like positive ideas.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was trying to scroll here to find. Is that
that tweet was fun.
That tweet was because it's a very good point. Like, and it's kind of a weird thing in general right now. There's an account on Twitter called @GiftSkull, and they pointed out how it's kind of funny that the top heels in WWE, like the things they're doing aren't necessarily heelish.
They're grounded in like betterment for humanity.
He said top heels the counted top heels in WWE. Drew McIntyre has a strong work ethic. Baron Corbin delegates authority to women. Daniel Bryan promotes environmental conservation. Dean Ambrose gets vaccinated. Responsible drinking advocate Samoa Joe. The Revival, who want fair wrestling matches. Jinder Mahal, who seeks inner peace. And Shinsuke Nakamura, an American patriot. Which is kind of weird that those are all like the top heels right now.
Yeah. And I guess that's, that's tricky at a certain point because, like, well, is he going to turn face just by continuing to be a heel and standing up for what he believes in? Because that's kind
like
of what
Usos, Becky, Lynch situation.
Exactly. It's just like, I mean, that's
with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
I feel like if it were anybody else, I would say yes. But you could tell Daniel Bryan wants to be booed. Like, he's like, you know what? We're doing this. Like, I'm going full force with it. I mean, so much so that at the Smackdown taping, there was a video from after the show during the dark match where it was going to be him versus The Miz. And it's great. He's in the ring and he's going off or whatever. And then there's a kid in the crowd who's yelling something at him. And he goes, like, what's your sign? He's like, what's your sign say? It's your birthday? Congratulations, you're stupid. No. And everyone starts booing, and he's like, your parents should be very proud because on your birthday it got recognized that you're stupid. And then and everyone just like booing everyone so hard, and they start chanting happy birthday for the kid. And he's like, no, don't chant happy birthday to this kid, don't do it, don't do it. He's like freaking out in the ring, and then finally he says like, all right, like, I'm not wrestling tonight. You know what? Like, I'm not wrestling here tonight. I'm going back home to Aberdeen, Washington. God's country. And then he walks out of the ring and he leaves, and I loved it so much.
Hey, the heels are going in on the kids. I mean, we saw Dean Ambrose on Raw just flat out deny a kid ringside on his way out after his promo. Like, he looked at it, was just like, yeah, right, and just kept walking. Like, they're doing it.
Good. That's what a heel does.
Totally.
They're doing it.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, like, a heel doesn't be like, hey, I know the show's over now, so now I can like be your pal and everything. It's like, no, you want that kid to hate you for forever.
And you know what? That kid probably got, because the whole crowd was cheering him on, happy birthday. He probably left happy afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that
evil was vanquished.
And I think that's why he's going to be effective as a champion. I think that's why Samoa Joe is such an effective heel right now, is because he's just like such an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, and he doesn't he's not going on Twitter like after they show him being an asshole on TV, then going on Twitter to be like, oh, hey, just like I'm actually playing video games though. You know, like he's like going on Twitter and being like and like digging deeper with his stab.
I gotta be honest, I was a little hesitant at Joe when he first dropped the whole pipe bomb about Jeff Hardy's drinking and stuff, because as we all know, it's been done before a couple times.
Yeah.
And
I feel like WWE's looked disdainfully on themselves doing that to people in the past. Jake the Snake Roberts, for instance, like a lot of times they've done.
Well,
these things.
That's a difference, but they were still actively under the influence.
Yeah.
When they did those, like Jeff's been, as far as we know, clean since his recent DUI, but
they did it with Jeff too, like with CM Punk and Jeff Hardy, and
I was a little worried at first. I was like, okay, we're gonna get this again. It's kind of going for what they know, and sometimes that doesn't always translate to good television. And with this, I mean, at first I was like, when he said it, I was like, this is a good Samoa Joe promo, but it's going with an angle that we've seen before.
Yeah.
And I mean, if we're going to see, I wouldn't be shocked if next week we see Samoa Joe break some sort of alcohol bottle full over his head, because we've seen that.
That's usually where these go. Yes.
And but then,
or he's like pouring the alcohol on Jeff's body on the ground or something.
I did like the PSA thing during the match, but still enough isn't different where it's not the same thing that we've seen already before. And that's not a discredit to Joe, because he's doing everything he can with this.
Yeah.
It's just, in my opinion, Jeff Hardy's more than just, because if you really think about all the messaging that they're really giving Jeff right now, is that he wants a second chance at life, and that's cool for him coming back. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Jeff overcoming all the demons that he has, and I'm happy that he has. But I just the story's been told before.
Yeah.
Unless you make it specifically about this most recent DUI, which maybe they are. I don't want to see this again.
No, it's just like, I totally agree with that. It's just like it is, and I realize that you could say that about most wrestling stories too. But these ones, like, stories of redemption for specific ideas and everything like that, if it's been done once, it's like you can't just go back and repeat it. That's why, like,
I don't know, it's been so long though since they have done that. Like, I feel like it's been a while since.
But with the same person though, I mean, if it was a retread of the story with somebody different,
how long
maybe
ago that whole CM Punk
but
thing
it's
was.
with the same person.
That was like 10 years ago at least, though.
You
can't ever.
I can hold your argument with, like,
I mean, there's just other stories to tell. I mean,
yeah, but then he also has gotten arrested since, and he had that thing where they told it on the WWE Network. Because I'll be honest with you, like, I haven't had a problem with it at all. Like, I kind of enjoyed the whole thing.
Don't get me wrong, Joe makes it really entertaining.
Yes, I do think if it were in the hands of a less competent performer, it might be. I might not be saying the same thing, but I do think that because Samoa Joe has been selling it so well, I have enjoyed Samoa Joe selling it so well.
You know why I'm a little hesitant towards it, and this has always been one of Jeff doesn't have many flaws in terms of his wrestling career, but one of them has always been talking. To this day,
That's true.
To this day, and he's gotten a lot better, but still. He's not that great. Like, whenever you can always tell when he runs out of things to say, he just makes noises. You know what? You noticed that, right? Like, he's like, "We're gonna have a good time tonight." Like, he couldn't. Like, who finishes a promo like, "We're gonna have a great time tonight"? It's like you can tell. Like, oh, he doesn't know where to go. You know,
play ball.
Yeah, pretty much. If you
Tell them to do, having a good time.
like, that's really what happens.
It is. I love Jeff Hardy. He's like one of my
I
all-time.
love Jeff.
Yeah, he's like one of my all-time favorites. But yeah, you're on the money there. Yeah, 100%.
And
I mean, maybe he can make that a thing though, where he just starts saying something different every.
If you
time.
go back and watch his promos on SmackDown, they all end in some exclamation that he's just. It's like, we're all gonna have a good time tonight. And by the way, he said these things before.
It's like the SNL skit where the girl can't keep the secret, Kristen Wiig, when she like has to. Oh, I don't want to say.
Yeah,
it.
it's pretty much
she
that.
She comes busting out with it. Yeah,
but going back to why I brought that up is you need, in order for them to make this interesting, you can't just be Joe. And I think that's one of the reasons why I don't think. I mean, I may be in the minority with this, but with the whole CM Punk Jeff Hardy thing, Punk carried a lot of the weight with putting that angle over, if not all of it. Because, I mean, how into it can you be if you know you're leaving at the end of it? Which we all know Jeff left right after that. But with this one, Jeff kind of just reacts like, come on, man. You know, like
Everybody deserves a second chance.
yeah, like why'd you have to do that in the middle of my match?
Again, I just said that fantastic end line.
Yeah. And
Everybody is having a good time tonight.
I just know when it comes time for Jeff to defend himself on the microphone, it won't be good.
I think that's very fair.
He'll hold the microphone like this, and then he'll talk out to his creatures, and that'll be it pretty much.
And everybody's gonna have a good time.
We're gonna have a good time tonight.
That's my favorite Jeff Hardy impersonation of all time. No, I agree with you. Like I like it is like the way that Samoa Joe is speaking right now, and the way that CM Punk did back in those days, it felt a little bit unscripted. And the way that I worry about that Jeff's response is going to be a completely scripted response to it, and the kind of like authentic and inauthentic nature of the way that those lines may come across and everything like that. That's kind of where like a lot of times where the separation and my where I'm kind of separating myself from believing it's real or not or whatever. That's where that kind of sets in a lot of times too. So it's just like if Samoa Joe is carrying at a certain level, he does need somebody to respond in kind of that same authentic, like aggressive level. And I agree. I don't necessarily think that we're going to see it. That having been said, Jeff Hardy's been on Smackdown for like 20 years now or something like that. So
according to the celebration.
According to the celebration. So maybe if he can prove me wrong. I'm happy to be proven wrong.
If what they're doing with this angle, what I think they're doing is this is just going to further Joe more as a badass. Like I think Joe comes off out of this feud on top. I mean,
me too.
He needs to.
He needs to. I mean, because he's
lost so much. He's doing so good, but he always loses on pay-per-view at the big one.
I mean, and Jeff Hardy can eat a ton of losses and come back and be a competitor.
Jeff Hardy is going to be always Jeff Hardy.
Like it's not difficult for Jeff Hardy or Randy Orton or somebody who has kind of that significance of accomplishment in their career to be able to bounce back from losing for a year and suddenly be taken seriously again. So he should lose this.
Just on a little side note, are you guys looking forward to TLC? It's like soon.
It's next weekend, I believe.
Yeah.
Is it this weekend?
No, it's next weekend.
Other than the two,
it's 10 days away.
Are there only what matches are there other than
So right now it's
Charlotte, Osku,
it's Natalya versus Ruby Riott in a tables match that was announced today.
Didn't know that. Okay.
The Bar versus New Day versus the Usos in a triple threat tag team match.
But not a TLC, which would have been
that's
amazing.
what everyone's hoping for.
Because we know the Usos and the New Day, you're going to tear the house down together because they've done it multiple times before.
Yeah, on that recap show this week, when we realized that it wasn't a TLC match, we were like, what? This one's not a TLC match?
Like of all the ones, that if they only had one to choose, I'd prefer it to be that one.
Me too. It's much more than the main event of Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin.
That's not
in a TLC
the main
match.
event.
What? Well, I mean, what do you think the main event? Well, keep going. So then it's
Brock's not on
Elias versus Bobby Lashley, Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre.
I mean, I feel like Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles.
Hold on, I'm looking
event.
at WWE. I'm not looking at WWE.com. I'm looking
forward to AJ and Daniel because I don't think they've really done what we know they could do yet together.
Yeah.
They've had a couple TV matches together, but none of them have really. And to be honest, I don't even know if we're going to get it this time because we have to heel Daniel Bryan. We don't have technical wizard Daniel Bryan.
No, I
mean, they did announce those matches. I must have missed it. So yeah. Elias versus Bobby Lashley, Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte versus Osku in a triple threat TLC match.
I mean,
that's going to be really good too.
I'm looking forward to that. I could see that main eventing. That or Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. I do not think that Baron Corbin versus Braun Strowman.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You're right. I forgot about Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles.
There's no chance in hell that anybody would ever consider Baron Corbin for the main event.
Have you watched Raw the past few weeks?
Yes, I have, but that's still like not a closing the show type of thing for
TLC
pay-per-view.
Match.
Yeah, I know that.
It's the men's TLC. It's like
not
a lot on the line.
That match would have nothing going for it if it didn't have the TLC stipulation behind it. I understand.
Well, it's also got the thing of Strowman wins.
I know the storyline-driven elements of it and everything. I'm saying as a match, I'm saying there's no chance that they would ever put Baron Corbin in the main event of a pay-per-view when there's so many other high-profile matches on it. And they're not even that high-profile. But it's like Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles will 100
or the girls
will 100% main event the pay-per-view. It's not even clear if Braun Strowman's going to make it or not.
So you think
was it going to be like Baron Corbin?
Well, that's why I think it's going to main event though. Because they're going to build up the whole show. Is Braun Strowman going to be here? Is Braun Strowman going to show up? And then he comes out and it's like a big thing and there's a big angle to end the show. That's the only reason I thought it ended the show.
I get that thought process.
The Brock Lesnar approach of just like, wow, there's only a few minutes left. What's gonna happen?
How the writers all talk.
They all wave their
we're gonna have a good time tonight.
The booking meetings.
What are they, wacky waving inflatable tube man?
All right, Vince, here's my next pitch.
Well, I mean, yeah, okay, I'm sold now.
Okay, so then Becky, Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles, Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax for the Women's Championship. Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin, Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship, and then the Mixed Match Challenge final match.
I'm looking forward to Seth and Dean. I'm looking forward to see what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do as well. I think that's going to be a standout match. I feel like they're gonna pull it out on that one for sure.
Do you think we get the match we all? I was just talking to Eli about this, but do you think we would get the match we want with Daniel Bryan and AJ, or do we not get that until they're both faces?
What do you mean, like a full
Because
blown?
I don't think because we haven't gotten the full technical master match between Daniel Bryan and AJ yet.
No,
we haven't.
I feel like Daniel Bryan's gonna have like a weird new heel style where he's not gonna be doing like everything. He's gonna do everything, and it's gonna be like throw off AJ Styles.
I think we don't get that match.
Well, it's like the
not
same.
yet. Maybe like a Royal Rumble where we get like a real like.
I mean, they can
killer match.
But the thing is that like they can hold off for a long time.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
like I almost feel like a match like that is like not even like you wouldn't even want it to be at WrestleMania because you'd almost want it to be kind of like a B-level pay-per-view so that they could have the space and the time to go all out for 30 minutes, let's say.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a similar example. I don't have one off the top of my head. But even if Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan, they had the best 2 out of 3 falls match that was the pay-per-view following the WrestleMania where Daniel Bryan lost in 30 seconds or whatever that everybody's in an uproar about. Like that, like a lot of times they will reserve the less showpiece style match and the more technical, technically driven competitor style match. They'll save that for a B-level show.
Well, see, that's why I really don't think it's going to main event then. That's why that match isn't going to main event if it's not like, if there's kind of like
there's a really solid chance it ends with the TLC match.
Yeah, I think Becky versus...
I mean,
but that also, I was talking about that. Like, Becky is still not cleared as of yesterday.
Yeah.
I haven't been working on it today, but like as of yesterday, she still wasn't cleared. So like, that also is going to be tricky. Like, Becky's been out for a little bit, broken face, concussion. You're gonna throw her right back in the main event in a long TLC match. Like, what if something happens? Like, I don't know. That just seems. That also seems like a risk. So.
But I mean, Charlotte and Asuka can carry the majority of the match
True.
if they need to.
True.
You can always, Becky. I mean, there's a billion ways they could handle this. But yeah, I back to Daniel Bryan. Like I've greatly enjoyed it. I've greatly enjoyed just seeing him do something. I feel like his whole face run since he came back has just been like so boring.
Yeah.
And like unmemorable. And so like to see him actually doing something and just like, again, a believable heel is a good thing. Like, you don't have a believable heel that often. I would say probably the best thing that Nia Jax ever did was break Becky Lynch's face, actually, because when she was like holding up her fist and kissing her fist after that, I was like, that felt real. That like, and that type of stuff when the heel's motives feel driven by realism. Like I at least understand where they're coming from, and I can perceive them as a legitimate threat because I know that the person behind it does believe in it.
I mean, there are great times in wrestling history where lightning just strikes at the perfect time.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the timing was right because Becky was on fire and the vitriol that's real vitriol.
Yeah.
They're taking their person out for having one of the biggest matches of her career.
Yeah.
And, like, there's a lot of happenstance instances like that happen in wrestling, and I think that's one of the things that makes it so enjoyable.
Yep.
All right, well, switching topics here. This one I thought was an interesting story, and that is that NXT TakeOver was moved to Friday during WrestleMania 35 weekend.
Interesting play.
Yeah, and normally I would say, well, whatever, it's a one-day difference, but it's definitely much more significant because of everything else that's going on that weekend and the fact that, Ring of Honor is at Madison Square Garden that same night, and so they were going to go head-to-head with Ring of Honor, Madison Square Garden pay-per-view. And Jamie, do you see it as WWE or NXT, I should say? Do you see it almost as NXT conceding a little bit to ROH?
I don't know if it's conceding. I think it's avoiding a conflict. I think it's avoiding any sort of. Because at the end of the day, they want to win, and they don't want any sort of any sort of attention. It's their weekend. At the end of the day, it's the WWE's weekend, and I do feel that they do feel that, especially with a show like NXT, where NXT is largely, if not 90%, indie fans, and that's the majority of people who go to NXT, and they realize that, and when they realize that, that there could be any sort of contention with that event, and it was Ring of Honor, that's the only.
It's Ring of Honor and New Japan,
and.
Because they're the same show. They're together. It's Ring of Honor and New Japan.
I know.
That's regard. Yeah.
So that's that's a super card.
Yeah.
And as great as the NXT class is, and probably will be even better by the time WrestleMania rolls around, they can't compete with the Bucks, Cody.
Yeah.
Well, wait. No, they're not going to be there.
Are they going to? They're not going to be at wrestling at all.
No, because it'll be WrestleMania weekend. Their contracts are up in January.
Oh well, we don't know what they'll do.
Well, the Bucks aren't. I mean, you're right. We don't know what they're going to do, but the Bucks are not going to be under Ring of Honor contract at that
New
point.
Japan. Because you said it's a double show. I didn't think they were going to have New Japan. I didn't think they were going to have Ring of Honor contracts.
I think both of their. I think Ring of Honor is up at the same. I'd have to look. Anyway,
but
I don't think they're going to be at that show.
Okay, well, be that as it may, there's still plenty of other amazing indie talent.
Yeah, because Cody said that the final battle is his last Ring of Honor show.
Yeah, I know that. I'm aware of that, but I'm also aware that things change all the time in wrestling.
Yeah, totally.
I'm surprised that they're.
I don't think it's a concede. I don't
think it's a concede either.
But it looks that way either, and that's why I am surprised too. Is that because we know the chutzpah on WWE, they don't concede usually, and so I also was a little surprised, but then I almost wondered.
I think it's more so just to let everybody do everything.
I think at the same time too. So does WWE have anything else planned that night?
On which night?
They usually have Hall of Fame,
the night that they're.
So Hall of Fame and NXT switched.
Mm-hmm.
So Hall of Fame is usually Friday, NXT Saturday.
So a Hall of Fame will be going up against the Ring of Honor, Madison Square Garden.
Correct.
No, I don't think that's a concession. I think that a lot of the people that would probably buy NXT tickets are going to be going to that show, like you said. But I think a lot of the people who are buying Hall of Fame tickets are just looped into whatever their travel package is and everything like that. I think it's a different crowd going to the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
To some effect.
Me too.
Absolutely.
And you're going to have a lot more of just the WWE fan, not even the wrestling fan, but the WWE fan.
Honestly, if there's one positive thing that out of all of this is that I feel like it removes at least 40% of the drunk wrestling fan who really likes indie wrestling, who had nothing to do on Saturday night, who then was I'll go to the Hall of Fame, or whatever. So I do think they're now all the ROH show. A lot of those guys because they have something to do already. Friday, they have Saturday night. They have something to do. So they're not going to be at the Hall of Fame yelling shit from the crowd and stuff. That's a positive, in my opinion.
I wish that they would move the Hall of Fame to a smaller venue.
Me too. I said the same thing on Twitter recently where I was like, people talk shit on the Impact Hall of Fame ceremony recently where it was they look like they're in a tiny food, a restaurant in the back room somewhere. I'm like, yeah, I honestly would prefer to watch that.
I'd like it if the
Hall of Fame was
done,
only wrestling people are allowed to be
families.
there. And their families.
Like if it was done like the Dundies or something.
I feel like
that.
they would even like it more.
Well, they used to be like that.
Yeah, they did.
Well, even up until I think it was about 2005 where they shifted it to being in the same venue. 2005 was WrestleMania 21, and I believe that's the one where Hulk Hogan got inducted, Roddy Piper, the Iron Sheik, a couple others.
Yeah, that was and Mean Gene. That was a great class.
It was really great class. But that was the same. That was the same year.
That was out here too.
Yeah, that was at the Staples Center, and I remember guys in the crowd.
That was at the Los Angeles, is the Universal Amphitheater.
Oh, really?
That one.
Well, my mistake, but that was the first one I remember where I heard somebody audibly yelling from the crowd, and Hulk Hogan responded to it because he was talking about Brooke, and he was like, "Hey, watch it, brother." I remember because I rewatched it like 25 times after it happened. But the thing is, what I'm trying to get to though is that I much preferred it, like you guys, like whenever it was something to where you didn't have like every idiot who had a ticket screaming out, and myself included in that. I feel like
even the Slammies too. The Slammies, I liked it better when it was like not.
Well, when it's like when it feels like an actual award show.
Yeah, I feel like the talent would even think. I mean, because honestly, like I can't vouch for any of the talent because none of them have said this to anybody or me. But like, I can't imagine that if they're not directly involved in the Hall of Fame ceremony somehow, that they look forward to it. Yeah, you know, like unless they have like their dad or relative or friend is getting inducted.
I hear people who actually like going to it that are like the wrestlers.
Brooklyn Brawler.
No, I've heard of some that like it because they get to like pay
Michael Hayes.
Well, I think it depends on the class, to be honest with you. Like
really
the class
does.
of inductees. Because what wrestler doesn't want to watch? Well, in 2005 at least, Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, Bob Orton, Jimmy Hart, Mr. Wonderful, Nikolai Volkov, Iron Sheik all go in at once. Like that's crazy.
That hasn't happened since. No. There's always one guy who there's a Larry Zabisco, there's a Hillbilly Jim,
there's a Coco Beware,
there's Abdullah the Butcher.
Remember how long Hillbilly Jim talked for?
I went to the bathroom and got changed and like had like a snack and he was still talking.
My favorite thing about Jamie when he goes to WrestleMania weekend is that he doesn't go to the Hall of Fame, but then he sits there and he watches it anyway in his hotel room always. For the past like 3 years, Jamie has done that, where he didn't go, and he always says,
"Hey, I don't blame you."
But he'll text me and he'll say, "Oh, I'm not going to the Hall of Fame. It's so fucking boring." And then as it's happening, he's sitting there texting me about it the whole time.
Because I'm at home. I mean, I'm in my hotel room. I'm in my hotel room, like comfy, not in a chair, watching it.
It's hard. Hey, it's hard. When the Hall of Fame is the day before WrestleMania, that's a brutal thing to get there.
I feel like that is gonna be a little bit bummer for some of the rest of them. Like this 7-hour ceremony before what we would want to be planning for our matches tomorrow.
Like so many. Like I mean, God,
That's why I can't imagine that like everybody thinks it's just I can't wait for the Hall of Fame.
I feel like the switch doesn't make the wrestlers happy. No, that can't be a positive for the wrestlers.
Why can't they just shorten the Hall of Fame to like
why
2 hours?
Why can't they give them time limits?
Yeah, they do it at the Academy Awards for much more prestigious awards.
Imagine if they played people's music like they
not trying to demean the
they
value
did it
of the
once.
Hall of Fame.
No, but imagine if they played the wrestlers' entrance to get them to play the music off the stage like they do at the Academy Awards.
Why not? Some cases they would hide it. But they've only played somebody off once.
Who was it again?
Mr. T.
Yeah.
And they had Kane come out and be like, "You have to come back here." I was like, when I saw it, because I was in the crowd when it happened, I was like, is he gonna get chokeslammed? Like, what's happening? Like, Kane's just like Kane's music plays and everything, and Mr. T looks just as confused as the crowd. And he literally, Kane literally just puts his arm over Mr. T's shoulder. He's like, "Come on, let's go. You're done here." Like, it's literally the only time it's happened.
Wow.
As far as I can remember.
It's time though. I get it that they're storytellers and that they worked really hard their entire career, and that does deserve to be recognized. I just don't need to hear Larry Zabisco giving his speech.
Remember the time?
Like he lost his speech. He didn't have a speech with them, and there should just be like they write everything else. They don't let anybody go out and do unscripted promos. They would never let Larry Zabisco go out there in any other circumstance and give an unscripted promo.
I still think to this day, the people who had the best Hall of Fame speeches are the 3 Page guys.
Yeah.
DDP, Razor, and Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
They all had incredible Hall of Fame speeches.
Yeah.
Even Jake, and you could barely understand half of it. Because you told me I was good.
That's such a good Jake the Snake. That's so good.
Like half of it, I was like, huh?
Oh man. Yeah, no, the Larry Zabisco year is the last year I went to the Hall of Fame. I was so over it. I remember I went with my dad and
we waved to each other.
Yeah, we waved to each other. That was Macho Man Randy Savage, Rikishi, Medusa,
Diesel.
Larry Zabisco, Diesel, and
Kevin Nash, I think.
Tatsumi Fujinami. Yeah, Kevin Nash.
Your favorite?
The Bushwhackers.
Tatsumi Fujinami, that was your favorite.
The Bushwhackers and Schwarzenegger. And I just remember I was just sitting there just like, fuck, man, like I have
that
so
was the
much
one
respect
I worked
for these people.
I worked that one.
You did?
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking the whole time, just thinking like, fuck, I love all these guys. I have such respect for all these guys. This is the most boring thing I have ever watched. I just remember the whole time.
Same.
I loved the Bushwhackers.
The Bushwhackers were good.
They were funny.
And I liked Lanny's speech for Macho Man.
I was real drunk.
I remember you texting me so drunk from WrestleMania the next day in your Warrior mask.
I'm sorry. Can I talk about one thing that I found on the internet that you've definitely seen, but I just want to bring it up? That
the Simpsons meme thing?
No, that one. Well, that's great too.
It's great too.
But that one random. I found this one random video of Lanny Poffo getting into a fist fight backstage with some random indie wrestler. And,
no, it doesn't ring a bell to me.
And Honky Tonk Man had to break it up.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't ring a bell to me.
You've never seen that? It's the craziest video.
What are you doing fighting back here?
Like Lanny, like it's so funny when you hear Lanny like argue with somebody like and start cursing because he's cursing at them like this. He's like, "Well, you're a son of a bitch," and you
kick his ass, Lanny.
Yeah, that's pretty much Honky.
Oh man, I could be Honky.
Like, hey, you can't do that. He's a vet. He's a vet. You can't talk to him like that.
You're going to your mom's house.
Did you find it?
Yeah.
First off, Lanny's in the ring until the whole crowd leaves.
Hold on a second.
Oh, you missed the fight.
Oh, wait, did I?
Yeah.
I like when old men say their age, though.
Wait, in the in-ring fight?
No, they fight when...
No, I didn't... There we go. Oh, shit! Oh, he just... Okay, so it's Lanny walking into a locker room. Oh, and he's just slapping the shit out of this guy.
He just starts slapping him.
Oh, this is an old man fight.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna get his arm snapped. And then he tried to tap out.
Who tried to tap out?
Lanny tried to tap out.
Honky Tonk.
Honky Tonk Man. If Honky Tonk Man is asking what's wrong with you, you do have something wrong with you.
He's lucky I don't break his arm.
What the fuck?
What the fuck is this about?
I highly recommend it.
I'm gonna give you a timeout.
If you guys haven't seen anybody get into an actual fist fight backstage at a wrestling event, like this is the one to watch because Lanny starts something that, you know, his eyes were bigger than the plate.
Yeah.
You know, like
This is 2015 , so yeah.
fairly recent.
I'm a 55-year-old man. That's what my dad says every single.
Did you, in your whole time at WWE, did you ever see an actual fight backstage?
No, not one fight.
Not one fight?
No.
Blow up, scream, not between two people. Like not, I'm not saying name names. But there was never like a tense moment.
No.
Interesting. Well, I'm sure there's tense moments, but you know what I mean.
I mean,
where it felt like
other
a
than
fight might happen.
Me and my former employer.
Yeah,
no.
yeah. That's why I said that.
No, other than that, I guess that, you know, shows a lot about my time there.
I think one of the biggest, and I don't know how much it'll actually affect it, but I think one of the most interesting things about the Switch is also that Joey Janela's Spring Break gets a little screwed in this whole thing because it's at the same time as Joey Janela's Spring Break too. So that the move, you know, Joey Janela's Spring Break was initially going against the Hall of Fame, so he knows the indie guy, like the people, the indie crowd is not going to be going to that. But I mean, regardless, it's sold out. So they made their money. It's sold out, so they made their money.
There are so many people in town.
Yeah,
but I just look into the fact that like
not everybody's going to get tickets to New Japan Ring of Honor.
Totally, but since Joey Janela's Spring Break is sold out on Friday, like now that NXT TakeOver is on at the same time, I do think that there are some of those people who were going Joey Janela's Spring Break who want to go TakeOver as well. Want to go TakeOver more because it's like, you know, there are going to be some of probably the best matches of the entire weekend on TakeOver.
Yeah, but you know, like and that's super true. And you know, the beauty of it is that they can go back and they can rewatch it on the WWE Network. Whereas getting to go to like the Joey Janela show though too, there's likely going to be a lot of really special stuff that happens at that.
Totally.
As A, to make up for the fact that it's taking place at the same time, but B, because they know that that's going to actually get like a lot of positive
And that's what
feedback.
the show's about at this point.
Yeah.
Joey Janela's shows a lot of moments.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing. I mean, that's giving the fans what they want.
And I feel like those moments are all the more exclusive, though, because so many people are going to miss out on seeing it live. So I think that in some ways, like you said, it's already sold out, so he's already got the guaranteed money and everything like that. And now they can just focus on actually making those moments that we're talking about. I actually think it in some ways, it kind of does them a favor because it makes their show all the more easy to, like, not necessarily easy to miss in a bad way, but easy to miss in a good way where people are going to miss out on it.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, that makes sense though. What you're saying.
Am I overthinking this right now? But it just kind of seems like, you know, that the weather is right for all these events that weekend. Like, I feel like we're going to get the best of the best that we're going to get.
I think so too.
I feel like everybody's just I feel like this is the first year of a WrestleMania where the indies are really where they should be at right now.
Yeah.
I think this is the year where it's really going to, every promotion that has a show that weekend is really going to show out.
You going to go to one of them this time?
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I couldn't go last.
Well, there's so many.
And to be fair, the Ring of Honor show that I could have gone to with where the Bucks and Matt Hardy and Jeff faced off, it was literally 35 minutes from the hotel.
I think I don't know what the whole setup is.
Well, I mean, New York is everything's close to each other, and you know, I mean, since I probably won't be going to the Hall of Fame, I probably will want to go to some. Oh fuck! I don't even know what just happened to my neck. But
yeah, that looked wild.
But
getting old.
Yeah. But I probably will want. I mean, at least I want to say that I've been to at least one of Joey Janela's Lost in New York's.
You want to say?
I want to say that I have been.
So would you go to that over NXT?
I really want to see a Matt Riddle match in front of an NXT crowd.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, I've seen Matt before, but I haven't seen him in this like full production.
That environment.
I think it really depends on like what your taste is, where your tastes lie, and the thing is like that. There's a heavy incentive, obviously, to go to the NXT event. You know, like, I mean, yes, you are going to miss out on everything that takes place at Joey Janela, but at the same time, it's just like you're guaranteed a good card at
Crowd's
NXT.
red hot.
Yeah, it's like the first big WWE produced event that weekend too, so it's just like it is going to be hot.
And speaking of Joey Janela's spring break, I think one of the other big stories of the week was one of the standouts from the Joey Janela GCW events was PCO, who had a real career resurgence.
Yeah. What guy gets a new contract at like close to 60 years old?
That's what's 50, but still, yes, crazy, yes. He's 50 years old, but he's
only 50?
I know. He signed an exclusive contract with Ring of Honor this week.
That's still like unheard of.
That is, sure. And not only someone of that age, but like, he was gone from wrestling for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Like
more than 10.
Well, he still did like indies. I mean, like, yes, out of the limelight more than 10, but like out of wrestling completely for like 10 years, I think, or something like that. So that's impressive to like be able to go away, come back. Never have been a main eventer. Like, it's not like he was ever like top.
Never even close.
No, it's not like he's someone where like they're clamoring for them to come back or something like that.
He was a tag champ during probably the most unpopular period of wrestling in the history of wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that he was able to come back and find relevance enough to where he then gets signed
at active salary, like
that is like so impressive.
Yeah,
that'd be like if the movie The Wrestler turned out good.
Yes,
and like it was a happy ending at the end of it.
It really would be. It really would be. It really would be like if the Ram got another contract.
Yeah.
And a healthy heart.
Yeah, like he actually landed the splash and got up just fine and was like, oh, and they're like, here's a contract, Ram.
Yeah. And as he's signing it, his daughter comes up and says, I love you, Dad.
I forgive you for everything.
Yeah. It's water under the bridge, Papa.
The Ram is not human. I love everything about it. He even posted a video which I thought was great.
He signed the contract in his blood.
Yeah, it's like that.
And he drew blood with an axe.
Yeah, he totally
like not a little knife or a razor. Like he literally picked up an axe and went, like on his forearm.
And then he covered the wound with tinfoil, because like when you see him walking out, he just has like tinfoil around his wrist, and I was like,
is that like some Canadian secret that
I don't know. That's what I liked about it. I was like,
imagine being their neighbors.
Yeah,
I just was seeing them make these crazy
and
videos,
just hearing this guttural scream at odd hours of the day.
Maybe he's just got one of those neighborhoods. It's like the neighborhood from the Burbs or something like that.
Maybe that's a good assumption. I mean,
but hey,
he's cool enough with that neighborhood to where that one person in the neighborhood let him use
the fish tank.
The fish tank. Or did you see that video that he posted, Eli? It's him walking into a fish store or a pet store, and he walks up to the fish tank, and he's just like, whoa! And he reaches in and he pulls some fish out and just bites the head off, and then walks out. And the guy's like, hey, you're going to have to pay for that fish. And he's just like, talk to the glove.
That's his new thing.
And then he walks away. Yeah.
And they a couple. I mean, another, in my opinion, a dope signing by Ring of Honor was Brody King.
Yeah.
That's another good one. I mean,
we were talking on the show last week about how we thought he was still a few years away from like a WWE.
This is a good step.
But this is a good step to that.
This is a great step. And he's going to really, because Brody right now hasn't other than his, he's been on MLW, but not on a consistent basis. Or now he'll be in TV on a consistent basis, which will help him, in my opinion.
Do you think that what's the way I word this? Do you think that PCO and Brody King are going to be enough to replace the Bucks and Cody?
I don't. Well, because PCO and Brody, well, they're very different acts. Very different. They're both monsters.
Yeah.
In
different ways.
And they're even both different monsters, from each other. And they don't serve the same role. I don't think that role has been filled yet.
Yeah.
The whole hip, everybody wants to be them role. Brody and PCO aren't them.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I think the specific role of the hero, that the hip badass that doesn't follow the rules, that hasn't been filled yet. And I think they are going to be taxed too, because I don't think Flip is that guy. I don't think, as great as Flip is, I don't see him. He just doesn't they got him with that angle with Bully Ray right now, which is going to do good things for him. I mean, Bully's going to pull the best he can out of Flip because that's what he does. I just don't see I don't feel it when I watch Flip. Am I crazy? I mean,
no, I love Flip Gordon, but I mean, I do think that he's not quite like the main event yet, but he's getting there.
He's getting there, but he's not. I don't think he's there yet.
I do think he's great.
No, don't get me wrong. But he's extremely talented.
I also think that when the Bucks leave and Cody leave, that I'm wondering what will happen with Flip because of his relationship.
I mean, do you think he'll still be on the Elite? I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I wouldn't think so. Once they're gone.
Were you surprised when the Bucks signed with Ring of Honor? It was a little over a year ago, right?
It was 2 years ago now, I think.
Yeah.
No, that made sense at the time.
Okay. There's part of me that I remember when they signed, and granted, you're way more familiar with them and a way bigger fan you're just closer with them in general. But I remember even when they signed that contract, I remember just thinking well, they're not long for Ring of Honor, and it just and there was part of me that
I did too,
and there was part of me that thought is this short-sighted thinking of Ring of Honor to hire people that they know are likely only going to be there for the duration of that contract? And obviously it was smart because they've been, they've gotten a lot of positive press and they've gotten a lot of attention because of the Bucks and Cody. But there's always part of me that's just what were they even thinking hiring them outside of just a quick blip,
especially since the Bucks became such a thing afterwards. Not so much that, but I've always been confused by the fact that that Ring of Honor didn't glom on to the success these guys were having more. I felt like they never took advantage of it.
They restricted it. If anything. They wouldn't let them. They wouldn't let any match clips be any. Ring of Honor was. New Japan doesn't. Ring of Honor lets that happen. They did. They let clips be in the matches. They let fan clips, but not if I was the company, I would give them clips.
I'd give them. I would give them.
I don't know about full match. I don't know about full matches.
No, not full match. I give them carte blanche to do whatever they want because clearly they have they have the company's best interest at heart. They're not trying to screw the company over at all.
If anything, it'd be give them a clip and be oh shit, we should go to the Ring of Honor network and go watch that match.
Yeah,
agreed. But even more so than that, I just never felt like they accepted the Bucks' success. Even the fact that they didn't initially jump on board with all that.
Yeah, if I was in charge of this whole, if I was in charge of Ring of Honor and I saw them create this being the Elite thing, I would pull them aside. This obviously isn't a guarantee that they'll say yes, but I would at least try and be okay, how do we make this synonymous? How do we make this in the best interest for all of us?
How do we use this to build both of us up?
Yeah.
Ring of Honor has failed at that their entire existence of using somebody else's popularity.
Ring of Honor's always been so interesting. They have the tools. They are given incredible talent. It's just that they don't I don't. They don't. It's a very. I don't know what it is.
I think it's
man.
the disconnect between the parent company and the content. It's the same thing in a lot of ways, like Panda Energy and TNA for so long. It's like there's a complete disconnect from the decision makers and the money holders from the people that were actually producing the content, and that's what it's always felt like. Like Ring of Honor to me feels like, 10 different silos of work happening that are working together, but the groups aren't working together. Otherwise, they would have pushed the hell out of the fact that the Young Bucks were there. They would have made it clear that the Young Bucks are Ring of Honor wrestlers and that you can only see them on Ring of Honor. I never got the sense ever from Ring of Honor that they treated the Young Bucks anything more than just another part of their talent roster.
It's to me, the Ring of Honor and the Young Bucks in kind also treated it as well, because how are they going to treat it more than anything if they're not going to? It just seemed like an indie stop.
Well, if you look at like Ring of Honor, in my opinion at least, like most of the most over people on the roster are the people on Being the Elite, and that's because of Being the Elite, really, and people are into it, I think that they should have definitely. They were way too late on all of it. They should have jumped on board way long time ago.
Yeah.
All right, lastly, before we got to get out of here, we only got just a couple minutes left, but I wanted to get quick take on the XFL still going full steam ahead here.
Well, we're going to see at least a few games.
What? Because it's in LA?
No, I'm saying before if it folds.
Oh, before it goes away?
Yeah. Are we all going to go to the first game at the StubHub
right?
Center?
Why not?
I'm not a big fan of the StubHub Center. But
I'm also not a big fan of football.
Me neither.
All right, cool. Then it's on.
But
we'll Uber there.
I guess it depends on if they really stay true to the keeping the WWE stuff away from the XFL or not. Because if it's a regular,
it's mostly a curiosity thing,
a first game football thing. I don't know if
let's get a suite somewhere down there and party it up that night.
Why not?
Down in Carson.
StubHub Center, just a straight party.
Let's
in
go
Carson.
party at Cal State Dominguez Hills.
Now, do we know? Have they announced the team names yet?
They have not. I looked on the website. It said they confirmed that once the locations were announced, they were going to announce the team names shortly after. So this week was the team locations. So we got New Jersey, where it's going to be in MetLife Stadium, Dallas, which is going to be in Globe Life Park, Houston, which is going to have the TDECU Stadium, Los Angeles, StubHub Center, St. Louis, the Dome, Seattle, CenturyLink Field, Washington, D.C. is Audi Field, and Tampa Bay is Raymond James Stadium.
I was a little surprised by the breakdown of the teams and everything, and that there's only one team centrally located in Middle America, and that's the St. Louis team. I believe all the other teams are outlying on the coastal areas of the United States for the most part, outside of Texas, of course, but Texas is Texas. But I was a little surprised by that they didn't go for a Minnesota or something that maybe is a bit more,
a little more the heartland.
Well, just a heartland area that is football centric, because a lot of those heartland areas, are college football centric.
Yes.
They do have a big
The
football
market's
following.
bigger.
Yeah, well, it's just it's one of the only things to do.
Well, I agree with you in that term, in that aspect. But they did say he said, the commissioner Oliver Luck. He said that over 30 stadiums expressed interest, but they chose these locations with the goal of establishing true partnerships with cities and venues that will be lasting. So that was their way of looking at it. It seemed like they wanted to go in more established.
Yeah.
Kind of bustling markets that'll maybe have ticket holders. More people wanted to buy tickets.
Yeah, I get that. I was a little surprised by the Los Angeles announcement, just because Los Angeles has 2 football teams and they're getting a new stadium and stuff like that. So I worry about that a little bit for them.
And I'm terrible, but isn't a new stadium being built, and then when 2020 rolls around, the Rams, right? That's
the Rams and the Chargers will both be playing
in that new stadium already by then.
Yeah.
And right now they're playing at the StubHub Center.
Yeah.
So then the XFL is just going to move into where they were, which is kind of smart.
The main reason why I feel a little worried about it is because I've been to a Rams game in Los Angeles since they came to Los Angeles, and you don't necessarily there isn't necessarily that obsessive following behind either of these teams in LA yet.
Interesting.
Either. So and adding another football team, another local LA team, I worry about it a little bit just because I just haven't seen a lot of those. A lot of the Chargers fans that are showing up are the people that are driving up from San Diego who still miss their team and stuff like that, or San Diego transplants and stuff like that. Same with the Rams. It's a lot of people going there for the other team rather than the Rams. So I'm interested to see what the reaction is in Los Angeles.
No, that definitely makes sense.
I'm not the big football person.
No, but
by
that
any
makes
means,
sense
but,
what you were saying for sure.
But I remember going to that Rams game and being like, "Wow, there's nobody here."
He also said, the commissioner said that
They become a little more popular
For
lately.
sure. That was like a year and a half ago.
Yes.
it sounds like they realized they didn't pay people enough money the last time, and that they have to actually pay competitive salaries to the NFL. And so that was kind of like something they got across in the press conference as well. It's like, this time we're gonna pay lots of money to people. So, which I thought was smart to get that across to everyone.
I love how that, like, when you, like, I guess if you really put it up against like an average NFL salary, like the $1 million game, you and your team get to split $1 million.
The purse.
$1 million.
It's literally in a purse.
Like, compared to like an NFL salary, it's insane.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It seems like they realized, and obviously they have to since it's been so long, and they also did a documentary pointing out all the terrible the things in the league. But it seems like now they understand like what really people didn't like about the league, because they've gotten rid of like the extreme nature of things, and instead it's like family friendly, safe football again, you know, and like
two-hand touch.
Yeah, and like there's a wellness policy and doctors that are gonna be checking out all their heads and all that kind of stuff. So
It's flag football, and everybody takes a knee. Or doesn't take a knee.
Doesn't take a knee, yeah.
Whatever.
You fucked that one up, Eli.
No, whatever.
My favorite part of that whole press conference, though, was when the lady had the brass. She's from Houston, and she's like, when they announced the team from Houston, she's like, I know Houston's in mourning right now.
Literally right now.
She's like, everyone's really, everyone's watching the funeral of President George H.W. Bush.
Currently,
It was in the midst of happening. It was literally happening on another channel. And she goes like, I know, Houston's in mourning, but I can't help but think that sports-loving former president is looking down from heaven right now. And he's real happy that we just got an XFL team in Houston.
I'm sure that's precisely what George H.W. Bush was doing. What his spirit was doing was looking down and winked before it floated off to heaven.
And I was like, he's just looking
back off to
he's just looking down.
Funeral.
God, why couldn't I have lived another year so I could watch some Houston XFL?
Yeah, there is no God.
Only I could have made it to 2020 and gotten the season tickets. That season tickets.
They didn't put him in the ground yet, and they said he's up there.
He's up there. It's like, no, he's in the back of a hearse right now.
If anything, he's listening to his son's eulogy for his life.
Yeah, his family's love for him.
Not
Oh boy, I really
George W.
Oh boy, I really didn't like vegetables, huh?
W. Shh.
W. Shut your mouth.
We're finding out there's a Houston team.
Did they say the name yet?
Did they say the name yet?
They're all gonna have a great time tonight.
It was Dallas. Dallas is the only one who got it. Oh, thank God, Houston got one too. Whew. That was close. All right, Jamie.
I could rest in peace now.
All right, Jamie, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at JAMIE_IOVINE or on Instagram at JAMIEIOVINE. And unfortunately, a few of the drops that we have coming up on the network, I can't say yet because they're going to be kind of surprises, so I can't really say any yet. But if you are in the LA area, we have Championship Wrestling from Hollywood Milestone this Sunday. It is our pinnacle event.
Wait, are you going to be there?
Yes, I'm going to be there. And
I got to talk to you about that.
yeah, no, I made it both work.
Okay, good.
And there was a scheduling conflict with me that I was having, but I was able to make both work.
I'm glad you did that.
No, I did. I had my cake and eat it too.
Good.
But
there's cake out there if you want some, by the way.
I did see there was cake, but there's going to be. It's me and my champion Royce Isaacs defending his title against Andy Brown in a ladder match, which is going to be very exciting. I've never been part of a ladder match before, and then also we got the current Nick Aldis won back the NWA championship, is going up against Bad Dude Tito.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
I'm a big fan of Bad Dude Tito.
Yeah, so for the NWA championship, the returning Nick Aldis. And, of course, we got Peter Avalon versus the former NWA champion Tim Storm, which should be interesting. Peter Avalon going up against this brick of a person would be interesting. And also a meet and greet with Shibata.
Really?
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Shibata, legendary New Japan. And he's the current trainer of the Long Beach Dojo, right? Yep. Shibata will be there at 2 p.m. taking pictures, signing autographs.
But you can't even talk about the one that you put on your Instagram story? Is that also the one that I was talking to you about? for the network that I want.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I guess I could talk about that.
That's cool. In my opinion, at least.
We have a next week. We are doing a drop with Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank fame, and we're releasing a. If you look on my story right now, it should still be up. If not, I'll post it again at some point. We made a shirt that he's going to be coming on and selling with us, and I believe it's next Tuesday. I believe. And I'll get a Double Check Network app or NTWRK on social media, and you'll get a full schedule of everything that's going on.
That's the first one I'm definitely gonna buy.
It's a funny shirt. If you got, I'll post it again at some point.
Yeah, it's a good one. Eli, where can people find everything you're doing at?
Twitter at Elijah Bates, Instagram at Brindleberry.
All right, you can find me at Ryan Satin on all social media. The website is at Wrestling Sheet. ProWrestlingSheet.com is the web, where the link where you can find it. There's also our YouTube channel, youtube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where you can find the recaps that I do with John Roca every week for Raw and SmackDown. You can find the video of Wrestling Sheet Radio. I'm putting up a video, as I said earlier in this episode. I've by the time this goes up, I will have already put up that fun facts video that I was referring to, and all sorts of good stuff. So please subscribe there, share the videos, like, subscribe. All of that, it really helps me out a lot. I appreciate those of you who've done so. The numbers are going up. It helps me out a lot. But they got to keep going up. So if you like the show, please share it. Let people know so I can get some new eyes out there, some new eyeballs on these videos. It really, really does help me out when you guys spread the word. Also, the podcast feed. It's on Podcast One. It's Wrestling Sheet Radio. Go check it out. Okay, that's it. We're done. Officially tapping out for now. Until next time, stay out of the dirt. Keep your eye on the sheet.